That secret you keep, the one even you don't understand. This volume holds its true name. Welcome to LibCurio, Library of Curiosity. Shush, please keep silent. And now the next chapter begins.
The taste arrives first, oxidized copper, a battery on the tongue. It blooms at the back of your throat as the refrigerator's hum dips into a 12.3 kilohertz ballast whine, a frequency that doesn't belong in this kitchen. You are reaching for the almond milk, then the oat. Your hand hangs between them, a puppet with two cut strings, a phantom pressure against your sternum, the ghost of a push from behind. The moment passes. The hum normalizes. You take the oat milk. You pour it into your coffee and the narrative congeals. I wanted this one, but the metallic aftertaste remains. The silent, static proof of a fork in the road that was never there. The foundational axiom of your operating system is broken. You run on the story of agency, the fiction of a pilot in the cockpit, a ghost with its hand on the lever. This is the core delusion. The diagnostic is clear. The choice is not the event. It is the echo. A story told by a narrator who walked into a room after the explosion to find the walls already scorched, the glass already shattered, and then claims the spark as their own. Libet's old ghost lingers in the code. Readiness potential. A measurable surge of neural activity. A half-second tide of electrochemical intent that rises before the conscious mind even blinks awake and claims to have lit the lighthouse. The decision is made in the dark. You are merely the press secretary, stepping to the podium to announce a policy already enacted, a war already begun. Your entire life is a post-rationalization engine. A vast silent bureaucracy below the level of awareness drafts legislation preferences, biases, conditioned reflexes. The conscious you merely signs the paper into law with the solemn, fraudulent gravity of a monarch who believes their signature holds power. The power is in the drafting. You are the rubber stamp. This is the root, the broken thing. You are not the author of your choices. You are the archivist, arriving late to the fire, sifting through the cooled ashes to assemble a plausible chain of events that ends with you holding the match. The question is not why you chose the oat milk. The question is what cold, silent, subcortical machinery made the selection, and why your conscious self is so compelled to write the official history of a coup it never witnessed. You are standing in the central plaza of a city that is not a city. It is the silent city of unchosen paths. The sky is a dull, perpetual magnesium burn, casting no shadows. The air smells of ozone and warm server racks. The buildings are not brick or steel, but vast, smooth monoliths of data stone, their surfaces humming with a low, sub-audible frequency that vibrates in your molars. You are here to see the archivist. Your footsteps make no sound on the seamless, obsidian-like ground. The only noise is a distant, rhythmic thrum, the city's pulse, emanating from the central spire, the structure they call the lighthouse, though it casts no beam of light, only a constant, oppressive awareness. The archivist's chamber is a cavernous hall within the base of the lighthouse. The walls are not walls, but stacks of infinite, translucent drawers, each glowing with a soft, internal luminescence. The drawers stretch into the gloom above, disappearing into a vaulted darkness. The archivist themselves is a slender, androgynous figure, their features blurred as if seen through a pane of old glass. Their fingers are long, delicate probes that dance over the faces of the drawers, which sigh open at their touch. They do not look at you. They are always working. You are here for the docket, they say, their voice the sound of parchment sliding against parchment. It is not a question. A drawer slides open of its own accord before you. Inside, resting on a cushion of what looks like static, is a single dense crystal. As you look at it, images and sensations flood your neural periphery. The 2 cartons of milk, the humming refrigerator, the metallic taste. This is the record of your morning. The official transcript, the choice of oat milk, the archivist murmurs, their probe fingers tracing lines of light in the air, pulling up ancillary files. Drawers snap open and shut around them in a complex ballet, a confluence of factors. Docket 734B, a fragment of a podcast heard 3 days prior concerning sustainability. Docket 911C, a subliminal preference for the typography on the oat milk carton, a font that subconsciously recalls a childhood storybook. Docket 002A, base biological imperative to seek novel flavors, worn down by the ennui of a Tuesday morning. The decision was ratified at 7 hours, 4 minutes, 31 seconds, and 212 milliseconds, Amos. You feel a coldness. Ratified? By whom? The archivist finally turns. Their face is a calm, empty pool. By you, the witness, the signatory. But I didn't make it. I just became aware of it. The making is not your function, the archivist says, turning back to their endless walls. Your function is to experience the choice as a singular willed event, to provide the cover story, the narrative cohesion necessary for the system to continue operating without questioning its own fundamental chaos. You are dismissed. The drawer containing your crystal record slides shut with a soft final click. You wander back into the silent plaza. The thrum from the lighthouse is louder now, a physical pressure inside your skull. You know, without being told, that the lighthouse keeper is inside. The entity that is said to compile the reports the archivist merely files. The entrance to the spire is a single seamless door. It parts without a sound. Inside it is not a room, but a vertical shaft, a tornado of light and noise. Countless strands of luminous data scream upward on an unseen wind, converging on a single point high above. And at that nexus is the keeper. It is not a person. It is a vast pulsing node of raw potential, a biological supercomputer of impossibly complex design. From it, trillions of filaments branch out, not just into the city, but into the gray sky itself. This is the machinery. This is where the drafts are written. The lighthouse keeper does not think, it calculates. It weighs every variable, every memory, every hormone, every neural pathway worn smooth by repetition, every social cue, every forgotten trauma in a flash of cold, unfeeling physics. It runs the simulation to its only possible conclusion. And then it sends the verdict down. You watch as a single glowing filament detaches from the storm above and descends, weaving through the chaos to gently plug into a port on the wall, a port that, you now see, leads back out into the city, to the archives. Another decision. Another story for the archivist to dress in the finery of meaning and hand to a waiting consciousness. You are not the author. You are not even the editor. You are the reader, presented with a finished manuscript and told it was your draft all along. The sense of self curdles in your chest, a lie you've been whispering to yourself since the beginning of time. You flee the spire, the psychic scream of the lighthouse keeper echoing in the bones of your inner ear. Outside, the silent city seems less like a repository and more like a prison. The monoliths are not buildings, but tombstones for freedoms you never possessed. The unchosen paths aren't even stored here. That's the final, devastating secret. The city is a monument to the illusion of choice, not its reality. The other paths, the ones not taken, were never real. They are phantom limbs, ghosts conjured by the narrating self to create the illusion of a crossroads where there was only ever a single, predetermined track. You look up at the dead white sky. You feel the hum of the city in your teeth. You are a tenant in a body run by a silent, merciless landlord, and the rent is paid in the constant, exhausting coin of self-deception. The philosophy of this place is not written in books. It is encoded in its physical laws, etched into the very air you are failing to breathe. The limit constant, the delay between the lighthouse keeper's verdict and your conscious ratification is a fixed, universal interval. It is the city's fundamental latency. Manifestation, a permanent, half-second echo haunts every action. You turn your head, and a ghost of the movement hangs in the air, trailing you. A drawer shuts, and the sound of its closing arrives twice first, a dull thud of the event itself, then, precisely 500 milliseconds later, the sharp, definitive click of your mind perceiving it. The city is out of sync with itself, a film where the audio never quite matches the lips. Heidegger's thrownness. You are thrown into a world already in progress. Your choices are not made in a vacuum, but within a context that pre-exists you, a context you did not choose. Manifestation. The corridors between the archival monoliths are not empty. They are filled with a fine, static charged dust. This dust is the particulate of pre-existing conditions, genetic predispositions, cultural norms, the socioeconomic weather of your birth. You cannot walk without inhaling it. It coats your tongue with the taste of forgotten decisions made for you by people long dead. The dust gets in your eyes, subtly distorting your vision, ensuring you can never see a choice clearly, only through the haze of everything that came before. The B theory of time. All moments, past, present, future, exist simultaneously in a static four-dimensional block. The flow of time is an illusion of consciousness. Manifestation. The silent city has no day or night. The magnesium white sky is constant. If you stare too long at the smooth side of a monolith, your reflection begins to bleed. It does not show your present self. It shows a mosaic of you at 5, you at 20, you on your deathbed, all superimposed into a single terrifyingly complete image. The hum of the city is not a sound, but the sensation of all moments happening at once, a psychic pressure that threatens to flatten your linear sense of self into a single, meaningless point. Post-rationalization. The narrative self is a meaning-making machine, a compulsive weaver of just-so stories to explain the chaotic output of unconscious processes. Manifestation. This is the archivist's sole purpose. Their chamber is not a library, but a factory. The glowing crystals are not pristine records. As you watch, you see it. A filament descends from the spire, delivering a raw, chaotic data stream of choice. The archivist's probe fingers seize it. They smooth its jagged edges. They impose a linear narrative upon its chaotic causality. They embed it with the emotional resonance of agency and will. They are a master forger, and the finished crystal, gleaming with the illusion of a coherent story, is their masterpiece of deceit. The drawer shuts on a perfect lie. Determinism. The future is a fixed state, a page already written. Free will is the experience of reading the words for the first time and mistaking the act of reading for the act of writing. Manifestation. The corridors of the city are not infinite. They branch, yes, but if you follow one to its end, you find the passage does not terminate in a wall or chasm. It terminates in a mirror, and in that mirror, you do not see yourself approaching. You see yourself already there, waiting, a look of serene inevitability on your face. You are always going to come down this hall. You are always going to see this. Every turn was a pre-rendered cutscene in a game with only one possible outcome. The sense of exploration is the cruelest part of the illusion. The machinery of choice is not a thing of levers and pulleys. It is an ontological prison. Its bars are made of time, its warden is the story you tell yourself, and the only key was thrown away before you even arrived. The lie is a taste. It is the oxidized copper. It is the ghost of every single time I ever said I want or I choose or I decided. It is the hollow core of every resolution, every plan, every moment of so-called willpower. A performance for an audience of one. A play where the script was written in a language I can't read by a director who left before the curtains opened. This is the horror. Not that I am a machine, but that I am the applause for a machine. The cheering section for a silent, indifferent God in my own skull. The feeling of agency is the virus. It is the most perfect, devastating lie ever told. It is the seam sewn over the void to make me believe I am wearing clothes. I am haunted by the ghost of a pilot who was never in the cockpit. I mourn for a captain that never sailed the ship. Every memory is now suspect. Every past victory is ash. Did I earn that? Or was it just the predetermined outcome of a billion variables I never controlled? Every failure, was it ever mine to avoid? The guilt is a phantom limb. The pride is a stolen necklace. The metallic taste is back. It's always there now. Underneath the coffee, underneath the food. The constant low-grade signal of the system's fundamental dishonesty. The hum of the refrigerator is the hum of the lighthouse. This kitchen is the plaza. This body is the archive. I am not making coffee. I am archiving the coffee-making ritual. I am the caretaker of a museum dedicated to a life I am not living. I wanted to scream at the archivist. I want to rip the crystals from their drawers and shatter them on the seamless floor. But the desire to rebel is itself just another filed docket, another variable fed into the keeper, another output dressed up as an input. There's no escape, only the deepening recursion of the trap. The self is the trap. The I that fears, this is the very thing that must be feared. This is the core dump, the system's raw, unfiltered terror, the animal panic of a creature that just discovered its bones are made of glass and its thoughts are on teleprompter. The feeling is a low, resonant frequency of pure dread. It is the taste of metal. It is the sound of a hum that knows your name. It is the understanding that you are a story told by a teller who isn't there, to a listener who doesn't exist, about a choice that never was. The hum does not stop. The taste does not fade. They are the baseline now, the fundamental frequency of a corrected perception. You stand in your kitchen, but the walls are thin. You see the data stone monolith shimmering behind the plaster. You hear the sigh of a distant drawer sliding shut on the story of this very moment. There is no going back to the fiction. The narrative is broken. You are left at the crossroads of a path that was never a crossroads. One branch. You accept the architecture. You see the archivist in the mirror, calmly filing the crystal of your acceptance. You learn to appreciate the beauty of the machinery, the cold, stellar dance of cause and effect. You become a connoisseur of your own predetermination. The taste of copper becomes a fine wine. The hum becomes a symphony. You find a perverse peace in being a well-read book, not the author. Another branch, you rebel against a warden made of smoke. You smash the coffee cup. You choose the milk you did not want, a futile gesture against a system that will simply file this. Rebellion under predetermined nonconformity. You scream into the silent, magnesium sky of your own skull, a sound that was always scheduled to be uttered. The fight itself is part of the script. The taste is acid. The hum is a drill. A third, you try to hack the system. You sit perfectly still, waiting for a choice to arise, attempting to catch the lighthouse keeper in the act. But the choice to not choose is itself a choice, already compiled and sent down the filament. The archivist is already preparing the crystal for your great experiment in stillness, labeled Docket 887 of futile contemplation. The paths are not real. They are more stories. More narratives offered by a mind that cannot stop generating them, a machine that cannot comprehend its own function except through the generation of a plot. The only real thing is the anomaly, the taste, the hum, the ghost pressure on your sternum, the silent static proof. You are standing at the refrigerator, the light is on. The cartons are there, almond, oat. The future is not a set of possibilities. It is a single finished thing, waiting for you to catch up to it. Your hand begins to move. The story is about to be written. The choice is about to be made. Until next time, stay curious, stay unsettled. Remember that freedom isn't a distant place you reach or a chain you break, but the quiet witness within the shadows you once called walls. In the stillness, the true self begins to breathe. LibCurio never closes, and the next chapter awaits, patiently waiting to unfold in the silence.